Hey, everybody.
Welcome back.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Fantastic.
When I asked you that on one of our early episodes, you said, quote, I don't think we have to involve everybody in that.
Did I say that?
Yeah, because I was like, I never ask you how you are on the air. And you were like, I'm fine. I don't think we have to involve everybody in
I'm
it.
real grumpy sometimes, guys.
Hey, Meg and Ashley, how are you guys?
You know, I don't think everybody has to know about that, but thank you.
That's fine.
Meg.
I'm doing great, guys.
Thanks,
Good.
Meg.
No, just kidding. I'm doing awesome.
Meg's a team player.
Yay. All right. So, like we said, we're getting in. This is a very Burr-centric episode. And because of that,
Feel the burr.
feel the Burr. Hashtag
feel the Burr.
You guys remember from last episode?
I do remember.
Hashtag.
So there is it's the Aaron Burr Cidery.
There is an Aaron Burr Cidery.
Shout out to them.
Where is it?
It is from...
I think it's in New York, right?
Yeah, it's
gotta
upstate,
be.
I think.
It is from state, but these apples were specifically from the Upper Delaware River.
Right. Yes.
All right.
But I believe the company itself is an upstate New York company, the Aaron Burr Cidery. Yeah, Wurtsboro, New York. That would be upstate. Perfect.
So Bianca ran
So
all over town today
I-
finding it.
Like a maniac, ran all over town to find this specific Burr cider that we could enjoy during this episode. So I'm going to open that now. Is that,
Sounds
that cool with
nice.
everybody?
And also, Bianca wanted to save the cork pop for the air.
I did. I haven't even opened it yet because I wanted to open it.
And I
On
hate
air.
the cork pop.
I love the cork pop.
Why do you hate a cork pop?
It makes
It's
me
the
anxious.
joy.
It's a very satisfying sound.
I like
it is
the
sound
of it.
of a festivity.
Look,
It is.
No
The
one
sound of a
loves the
party.
festivities more than me, but I feel like it's going to hit me in the face every time.
It won't.
It's okay.
Has it
As the
ever?
kids say, don't yuck your yum. I'm not going to yuck
Famous
your yum.
last words, Meg. Has it ever?
Oh, maybe you should duck. Sorry.
I'm looking away. Watch it. It's not going to make a noise at all.
Oh, that was so anticlimactic.
That was the weakest cork pop sound ever.
Well, guess what? I'm keeping it in.
Oh,
I'm keeping it in the episode.
That was rough.
So you were drinking. You Instagrammed a photo.
I did. My friend Kelly, before we went to go see Hamilton, the musical.
Hamilton the musical. Hamilton. It's an American musical.
An American
I've heard-
musical.
Yes, it's an American musical. She told me, we went out to lunch, and then she was like, "Oh, I got some Aaron Burr cider," and I was like, "Oh, what? What is that?" And
He's back and he's making his own cider, guys.
and we went back to her apartment. She lives right in Hell's Kitchen, so she had set out 2 Hamilton glasses. And
From one of the other many times that she went, and then she bought it from the theater.
From one of the 8 times that she saw the show.
Great.
She can't wait to come and talk to you about it.
I know. I'm actually very excited to have her on.
I know she's super
She's gonna be
excited
great.
as well. But yeah, we made sure that we had the shot all set up because I didn't want to throw away my shot by taking a bad Instagram picture. Do you see what I did there?
I do.
I
they
loved
all
it.
see what you did there,
Okay,
actually.
loved it. Hamilton reference.
I am not throwing away my shot!
Hamilton reference.
We're full of them.
Welcome to the Hamilcast, everybody.
Hamilton.
Did we introduce ourselves? Did we even say I'm Gillian and I'm Bianca?
Probably not.
Okay, well-
I was really focused on
No, you did in the beginning.
opening
Okay,
a bottle
you
of
did.
cider anticlimactically.
In the worst
it's like
cork pop
watching-
ever. Well,
It's like starting Mad Men at the Shut the Door, Have a Seat episode.
Well,
If
you
you're-
cannot start Mad Men at that episode.
Yeah, if you're
That episode is like such an amazing episode.
know.
We've already veered off.
Or
but
the suitcase.
It is.
Oh, the
it, no,
suitcase.
but Shut
Oh.
the Door, Have a Seat is
Oh,
like.
I'm sorry.
It is
So sorry.
It is so hype, guys.
Can
It
people-
is like you just
Wow.
like getting the band back together type of feeling. That episode is friggin' everything. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm Bianca.
she likes Mad Men.
I'm-
I don't know if you've noticed.
I have a Hamilton. I have a Madman tote bag with me today.
You do.
I do.
Stop.
So maybe that's
Copying.
why I thought of that as a reference. Now I don't know if I regret it. I'm not sure yet, depending on how
just happens to be one of my favorite episodes.
That was very telling, and I loved it. I loved every second of it.
But my point is,
Right,
is
point.
that if you're starting the podcast like right smack in the middle, you're gonna be really lost
are
in terms
these crazy
of Chernow. They don't exist. It's fine. Let's not.
fine.
They don't exist yet. I'm just saying hypothetically.
I meant they would be thinking, who are these crazy
Oh,
people?
I thought you were saying,
That
who
is
are
accurate,
these crazy
yes.
people that are just listening?
No, our people would start at the beginning.
No, I meant they wouldn't know who we are yet, so we should do
Yeah.
a quick intro.
Raise a glass.
Look at where we are and look at where we started. Sorry. I just want to say the bottle has a pistol on it,
Yes, it does.
and it says
An old timey.
an old timey like a
A dueling
dueling
pistol.
pistol.
pistol,
if you will.
Yeah, and I will. It says store in a dark, cool location, which to me is like, that's so Burr.
Yeah.
But I might be reaching. Like, admittedly,
Or
might
it's
be
just how you
reaching.
should store liquor.
Well, or Burr.
Just store Burr in your cabinets in
Store
a dark,
Burr
cool
in a
place.
cool, dark place.
But I think that's like where Burr lived, in a cool, dark place.
that is very poetic,
Right?
very nice, and
Thanks.
accurate.
I like that.
Yeah.
And maybe, you know, so, as in Madison, because we know that Bianca thinks that Madison should have a goth emo musical.
Madison definitely
totally
needs
should.
that.
Because
I love
Madison,
Meg.
Madison is like Snape without like the positive. We can't talk too much because I don't want to spoil it for Bianca, but he's very Snape-ish. in
Wait,
a lot
I'm sorry,
of,
you don't want to spoil who Snape is?
What
Bianca
more
has
thing-
not
Bianca-
read or watched any
Bianca's
Harry
now
Potter.
talking in the third person.
I'm sorry, I just died a little bit.
I know.
I haven't seen it either, guys.
Neither has
What?
Meg.
Or read it.
What?
Or anything.
There was just a line drawn.
There
in
is a line
between.
drawn in the sand.
But I have. But so Bianca's whole thing when we were
Oh.
talking to Hollis from Hamilton
But I've been
Squad,
sorted. Is that
I
the
think
word?
Bianca's a Hufflepuff.
But I'm a Hufflepuff.
I say
can
Hufflepuff.
see that, yeah.
Don't
I
know what a
can see you being
Hufflepuff is, but
Hufflepuff.
it
Wanna
sounds
know
cute
what
and
I
fun.
am?
No, that sounds about
But I
right.
feel like that's.
I think Meg is either a fellow Ravenclaw or a Gryffindor, just because of the smarts and the brilliance and the
I mean, I'd go
creativity.
Ravenclaw, but I don't know you at a more. I don't know you at a deeper level yet, and I feel like you might demonstrate some Gryffindor qualities that I don't know about.
No idea what any of this
don't know
means,
what
but
you're saying
Hufflepuff
to me.
sounds
And
super
you know
fun.
what? You might not, but I feel like a
sounds
solid
aggressive.
amount of people who listen to your podcast will definitely understand this entire conversation.
No, they will because
Oh, I'm well aware that
been tweeting
like
about it.
Meg and I are the only people
Yeah,
who don't
we're-
understand this.
yeah.
But
Okay,
here's
well,
the
if
thing.
you want, you can borrow my books too.
Oh, yeah, when we were talking with
As I have said previously, I already have one large book I'm working my way through, and now I have two.
Yeah, that's
Thank
true.
you, Hamilton.
But I do want to say, when we were talking to Hollis from Hamilton Squad, this is the fourth time I've started the sentence. I'm sorry.
So sorry.
But your whole thing was like, it's too late now.
Nope.
And I was like, hey, I have news for you. Guess what? I read them all last summer. It's
Yes, you
not
did.
too late.
I
Yes,
still feel like
not
it's a little
late.
too late.
No, it's not. My friend
I
actually
can't
just said
participate
to
in
me,
the
"Give me all 7
fanfare, and the
books."
fanfare is part of the fun.
But you can read them before the new movie comes out.
There's a new movie?
I don't even know what to do
Ashley,
anymore.
would you like to start a Harry Potter
Disappointing everyone in
podcast?
this
with
Full of disappointments.
There's a lot of Harry Potter podcasts. We might not shine as much. I mean, there's like Mugglecast.
Do you want to just like meet up once a week and talk about it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
Done. Done.
You've been sorted at you're a Gryffindor,
Oh, I'm a Gryffindor,
right?
obviously. Come on, guys.
I mean, obviously,
Come on.
right, guys?
As soon
right?
as
No, I get
the
that.
websites went up, I sorted myself.
I have not.
There's a sorting
been-
website?
It's Pottermore.
It's
I've told you
Pottermore.com.
this.
It's
I
like
don't
it's like I
understand.
don't even know you.
I don't even know what
understand.
sorting
Told
means.
you- okay,
Oh
you
my
know what?
God.
I explained it to Bianca, which now that clearly means you don't even listen to the podcast.
I do. I swear.
Because Mike said, actually, in real life, and you will attest to this as a high school
Yes.
teacher, it is probably the worst idea
Yes.
to
No, it's a
sort
terrible
kids
idea.
into categories and then force them to compete against each other.
Well, and
It's
also to
terrible.
force them into categories that tells them like you're in this because you're like this and you're gonna be like this forever.
Yeah.
Terrible idea.
But
they're 12.
In the Hogwarts universe, it
Well, it
makes
makes sense.
total sense.
Obviously, how
and
else are
it's
you gonna win the House
perfect
Cup?
And beautiful and magical and
Are we
wonderful.
sure this isn't a podcast about Harry Potter right now, or is
It
it
can
about-
be.
Whoa, don't tempt me.
Lynn mentions it a lot in the Hamilton, by the way.
He does, actually. And
He
I was
says,
like,
like,
I don't get
he,
that reference.
He compares
Yeah, it's right here, even though I don't know what this means. Page 24, it's for Aaron Burr, sir. Where when Burr says talk less, the footnote is this whole section is basically Harry Potter meeting Draco Malfoy before meeting his real friends. Just Hamilton's lucky to meet his
Wow.
temperamental opposite.
Yeah.
That
That
makes sense
is-
to you Potter fans over there?
Absolutely.
So does.
It's
And
perfect.
I read that aloud to Mike, and he was like, yes.
It's so true.
There's another reference where
Potter.
he's saying it's like, oh, it all makes sense because it's like I imagine this is when Harry realized he's a wizard, like, and now like off we go. Here we
Yeah.
go.
So Aaron Burr.
Hey Meg.
Hi. Sorry, I'm looking at this Pottermore thing.
Yes,
She's already on
Here's
Pottermore.
that
All right,
Very
girl.
confusing.
This is why Meg is now
I
like
love
cut
everything about this.
Cut to 2 days from now. There's gonna be a lot of Harry Potter stationery on Meg's Etsy.
It's true.
You are missing a golden opportunity
I
on that one,
probably
Meg.
am.
I'm a Ravenclaw, just in case I haven't mentioned it. If there are any Ravenclaw.
Hufflepuff sounds like a fat penguin to me, so
Hufflepuff
I don't even know.
sounds
That's
Hufflepuff is
amazing.
like the
Ravenclaw
nice-
sounds aggressive.
Hufflepuff
No.
are like the nice kids who are like
All inclusive.
they're like we welcome everyone.
Yeah, that's
and we're
exact-
really smart, but like also we're down to have a good time.
Oh, that's me.
You and Mike
See?
are Hufflepuffs.
Oh, that's fun.
See?
It's
Will
all
you just
good.
trust me
I do trust you.
when I sort? Because I sorted Mike, and then
I
he went
trust
to
you eternally.
he went to Pottermore, and guess what? I was right.
Well, it's okay. It's good. It's good.
I know it's good. I'm sorry.
I've been
I'm
sorting
just-
people in my head the moment I meet them since
funny,
probably
so,
like 1999.
It's the equivalent of like casting your friends and whatever you're obsessed with at the moment.
I wish
Yes.
you guys had been at Broadway Con with Meg and I, because
too.
we went to Broadway Con in
Yeah.
January, and there was an entire event of sorting Broadway people into houses, and Meg and I were like, we have no idea what this
didn't go
stuff
in that
is, so
room.
we're not going to go because we don't know what this means. But
Stop
I'm
it.
guessing this is
Yes.
what it was like.
Well, you texted me when Emma Watson was with Lynn sorting people, and you were like, "Have you?" I assume you've seen this. I was like, "I've seen it like
I've
8
watched
times
it like 12 times.
already." And I think she said there was an argument that Burr was Hufflepuff. Someone had mentioned that. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might
Right.
be. And she was just like, "That's crazy." But Lynn was saying that there's like an argument for.
Well, didn't Radcliffe say that he was that Hamilton was a Ravenclaw, and Emma Watson says that no, he's a Gryffindor? I know that there was that discrepancy.
there was that.
You guys look so interested.
I'm sorry.
I'm just
I'm
trying
so
to
sorry.
follow.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway.
I'm not uninterested. I just don't know what you're
I
saying.
don't understand.
Well, if you'd
okay,
like,
here-
I can read the books to you.
Yeah.
I'll do
would
different
like that,
voices.
actually.
Can we act them out?
Yes.
Sweet.
You're a
sweet
wizard,
that.
Harry.
You're a wizard.
I'll-
All right. Well, here's the
my
thing about
dream.
Burr, and here's a segue.
Hey.
Had to turn
look
out.
at that
Hello.
segue.
Burr's super ambitious.
Yes.
So this is all right. There's a lot going on. I have 5 pages worth of notes for this.
I'm very proud of you. These are stellar notes too.
Thank you. But they're still very conversational because I write my commentary also
As you
in the
should.
notes. But we're up to
called
chapter
annotation.
10. It's called A Grave, Silent, Strange Sort of Animal. Here's the thing about that. Burr described himself
As that.
Oh,
That is
which is made me when Chernow hit me over the head with that, I was like, wait, I'm sorry, what?
also, like, how arrogant. Like, in so much as we know not what to make of him.
Yeah,
Be like,
so-
so you think you're so mysterious that
Yeah.
people are just like, ooh, Aaron Burr.
Who is this grave,
Yeah, come
silent,
The
strange
whole
sort of
quote
animal?
is he is a grave, silent, strange sort of animal, in so much as we know not what to make of him.
And he describes himself in the third person. Have you ever done that?
I mean,
Bianca
I just
just
did it.
did.
So
Well, all right, fair. Okay.
But I mean,
Okay. Good point.
in the grand scheme of things,
You're Aaron Burr.
oh no.
you're the Burr.
Well, I am drinking the cider, so
Yeah. But it does kind of make sense, and
Yeah.
because he did he was so, what's the word I'm looking for, not reserved, but he went out of his way he wrote in code to his sister, you
Yes,
guys.
he did.
Like, he was so nervous about having some kind of documented history about what he was saying and what he was thinking that he wrote in code to his sister.
I imagine it probably has a lot to do with his parents' death, probably so early.
Yeah, let's get into that, shall we?
There's a reason I'm still alive when everyone who loves me has died. I'm willing to wait for it. I'm willing to wait for it.
Yeah, he's not kidding.
He's really not kidding. It's really, really, really sad.
Poor Burr.
It's really, really sad.
by the time he was 2 years old, he lost what? His mother, father, grandfather, grandmother, great-grandmother, either to smallpox or dysentery. That is,
Which is
a
just-
lot of people to lose by the age of 2.
Yeah. And he didn't, I mean, you don't know anything when you're 2.
No, not at all. You never
So,
knew
like,
these
he
people,
wouldn't
so
even
you
know.
just grew up like all half-cocked, not knowing where you came from, what your legacy is, who your family is.
If you can trust anyone.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get where he's coming from in terms of how he acted in a way. Like, I think there's not to have this as a total therapy session, but to actually have it as a total therapy
Like,
session.
Burr, tell me about yourself.
He didn't know anything about himself or where he was going, or he had nothing else to relate to or look back on or any
Yeah.
history about himself. That why would he trust anybody?
It's also his family's legacy was so entrenched, not only just in himself, but in American history, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
And, so I can understand him being very reticent to make big decisions and or to say things about himself because he's a Burr. He was a Burr.
Yeah, his grandfather was a fire and brimstone preacher.
I've heard that.
The
He was like actually the like
Yes.
that is Lynn like kind of not
Yeah.
giving, I mean, he was, and this is also in the Hamilton, but he wrote Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God. That was what
Required
his,
reading in high school.
For sure. I had to read that.
which I didn't.
It's okay. I'm sure I told you all about it before
Sure you
class
did.
started.
And I was like, where are these people? And
Sounds
now
terrible.
I have a podcast.
And it's so
about
funny because like I remember my history teacher actually put an affectation on the way
Yeah.
she said it, and she went, "Sinners in the hands of an angry God."
Well,
and
it
I was
sounds
like,
really
yeah.
intense.
I don't want to read that. That sounds awful.
It was a real thing. He was known as
Fire and
the
brimstone
guy.
preacher.
I mean, like the person, and he sounds kind of scary.
Well, the Puritans were also pretty terrifying.
It sounds kind of
We've heard of Salem, right?
I think there were a couple. Yeah, no, the
like a few-
worst. Oh my god. Yeah, and that was after. I mean, that was so. I'm saying that like this
Right.
Sinners in the Hands of an
Yes.
Angry God was even after Salem.
Right.
So I'm like, wow, they're still going, huh?
Yeah.
still
They're
still doing
going.
that.
Yeah,
they're still
still
doing
do-
that
still
whole
doing it.
angry.
Oh
thing.
yeah. I think there's still some people around now who think that way.
Oh, there
which
absolutely are.
It's cool. It's
There-
great.
it's great.
You should come to New York and hang out with us.
Please don't.
You should come to New York and learn a few things.
Yeah, in your face.
Yeah.
Queens.
Queens, what up?
I don't know why
I'll
we're
show you
repping
my New
Queens.
York values. You're repping Queens? What are you talking about?
I rep Queens all day, every
All
day.
day.
Thank you.
What's
I'm
up?
from like Flushing. I don't know why I'm talking like this.
That's not how we talk? I mean,
No,
it's
thank
not.
God.
son.
It's actually not.
No, it's
people
not at
tell
all.
me often that they're like, "Oh, you don't seem to have a Queens accent," or
I lost it in college. I was around
I
too
don't
many
know,
but when
Massachusetts
you get
people.
like riled, or maybe have a cocktail or
if
two.
I
when I
get
say it's
like a little
mad brick
rammy,
out-
then I will definitely.
if I'm
it'll come
getting
out.
on even Michael say like, wait, say that again, and I'm like, it's some kind of.
or when I say like mozzarella instead of mozzarella.
Well,
Everybody
if I
gets,
say
you know,
mozzarella, Michael will be like, that's so Queens. That's like that's-
mozzarella.
Yeah.
Let me get some mozzarella. Put it in my pocketbook.
Put on your pantyhose and get your pocketbook.
I'm sorry. I just turned into a soprano there. I just turned into.
You know what? If you guys want to have
It's a
a
Porsche.
Sopranos
Cayenne,
podcast,
like the pepper.
also.
We're now up to 15 podcasts.
Yeah. Just in,
I
yeah.
want to participate in all of them.
But you know what? Ham was in this chapter too.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of like, I loved this chapter so much because it started with what Ham was doing as a lawyer and then went into what Burr was doing and then combined both of them. So let me just say, you guys, Lynn didn't start Ham for Ham.
Nope.
He did not.
Hamilton started Ham for Ham.
Yeah, you did.
Because when Hamilton, thank you, I love this as your
I don't
you're
know
my
why I'm
hype
doing
guy.
this. I'm the hype
I
man.
love you're my hype
You're
guy.
the
I
cabinet
love
battle
it.
hype lady.
So here's what happened. When Hamilton was a lawyer, he actually, for a guy who
Financial systems into existence.
he didn't really care about money at first when he was a lawyer. He wanted to defend things that he really believed was right. He only wanted to defend people who were innocent.
Right.
And he wouldn't accept money. He didn't want lawsuits. He would want to settle out of court, or just he would like. There was this one guy who was going to fight over an estate with his family, and Hamilton was just like, why don't you guys just go home and talk about it? And I'm like, well, Ham is never clearly, I'm sorry, like obviously didn't have a big family because family can get crazy with estates and stuff. But he was like, why don't you guys just go talk about it?
Why don't you just sit down and hold hands?
But he accepted as money, I guess.
Payment for his
Thank you
services.
for that word. Thank you. Payment for his services. A ham.
An actual ham?
barrel
An
of
actual ham.
Yeah.
A barrel of ham.
barrel
The
of ham.
original ham for ham.
Ham
That's
for him.
amazing.
He did it. It was
That's
him.
hilarious.
I would
Ashley-
accept that for payment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ashley once texted me that fun fact at like 7:00 in the morning, and we just kept going for hours talking about Hamilton
Wow.
in a text message. I was like, really? Tell me more about this amazing,
Who is
crazy
this
thing.
Alexander Hamilton?
Yeah. He was not fun to work for
Nope.
at all. People, what's the quote? Some guy said, working for him requires the sacrifice of every pleasure and demands unlimited application. Heavy for the most part have been my hours to me. That's dramatic.
Sounds
It
like
is
an
very
awesome
dramatic.
boss.
You could just say I'm tired a lot.
It's a lot of
not a great
obfuscating there.
situation.
Yeah.
To say like, my boss is a real hard ass.
Yeah. You're going to hear about him. His name is Alexander Hamilton. Actually, though, by that point, people have probably read
he was a
so
famous
many
general,
of his...
yeah. He was a famous general, and the Federalist Papers were being written around that time.
He wrote like roughly what 51.
I think
of
it's
those?
about 51 something. The other 51.
Give or take.
Well, I'm not sure.
But unfortunately, he may have been like a wretched boss, or at least a little like to deal with. But there was no.
It's a good noise. Yeah. Yep.
There was still, you could not deny the fact that he was an incredible lawyer, and that's what makes it so annoying.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so annoying. It's like, oh, fine, but you're right. Okay, shut up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm just
I do
saying,
know.
Don't you hate when that happens? When it's like, this person's so annoying, but they have a point. Great.
Yep. All the time.
Always.
Hate that. It's me. It's me.
Ashley's like, that's me.
I'm sorry. I'm always right. Just kidding.
I think it's funny that they mentioned that he had the most durable pair of lungs in a New York bar. It's like, oh my God, this guy.
That was one of my
He
favorite
will just not stop.
quotes from the
Non-stop.
from
Exactly.
the chapter. The most durable lungs.
Durable lungs.
Because that really gives you the visual of this guy was talking like
And
the
his-
durable lungs.
Yeah.
Right.
The visual of that
More
I think
than
is-
any human should be able to.
Well, I mean, think about just standing in front of a courtroom full of people and talking for 4 hours. I have trouble talking to 12 teenagers for 53 minutes without looking at them being like, will someone else say something? Please. I cannot be the only one talking. So for 4 hours with his hypnotic gaze, I mean, come on.
Also another quote.
Come on.
He had a hypnotic gaze. But then in which case you just put on Hamilton and or Band of Brothers.
I do that every day.
Wow.
The kids asked me today, they're like, Miss, we going to listen to Hamilton? I was like, are we gonna, what a dumb question. Dumb question.
You fail. Did they ever? Because all right, so back weeks ago in our earlier episodes, people were challenging you to rap battles. Has that come to a reality?
It hasn't come to fruition simply because I do not want to embarrass myself in front of teenagers.
I'd be
'cause
super
they are
scared.
merciless.
I'd be super scared.
I would be scared too.
But they keep asking if they can listen to it or like if we can listen to particular songs, and they keep asking me when we're going to see it. Which,
As a group, which
yeah.
actually, shouldn't you be able to do that?
You know what?
Being a
Thank
high
you.
school teacher and
I
all?
should be able, because there's this awesome little grant that was created for New York City students, particularly in Title I schools, which are schools that have kids from like low socioeconomic home and conditions. And I have emailed the Gilda Lerman Foundation about 20 times. Nothing. I
Maybe
have
you
gotten
should email them 51 times.
nothing.
Just for,
I am this close, and for people who can't see that, I'm holding my fingers really close together. But I haven't heard anything, and I'm dying. And I know this past Wednesday was the first Eduham, and it looked amazing. And I want to go. And you know,
For
my
your
kids,
students.
for the
For the
kids, it's for the
students.
kids, really. But I want to go.
Wait, okay, so they said that they were going to have 20,000 high school students there,
Yeah.
but then I remember you were texting me that there's kind of no other information out there. There's like one email, but there's not really.
Well, it's so strange because they said that, you know, you sign up for updates or whatnot, and I did everything that I thought I was supposed to do. I was on the Department of Education website every day, like looking for clues. I felt like an explorer trying to find
Sure.
stuff. And then I heard nothing, and then finally I just went on the Gilda Lerman website again, like a couple weeks ago, and I emailed them, and I was like, I have been asking you for a password. I've been asking you for a login. I've been asking you to help me.
Is there a phone number?
There probably is. I don't like talking on the phone.
Get them on the phone.
All right.
time.
You need to
Fine.
talk on the
Time.
phone. Sometimes you need to make a phone call, Ashley.
Yeah.
Fine. All right.
You'd be surprised what you can get done with a phone call.
Yeah.
I know. It's probably why a lot of things don't actually come to fruition in my life because I refuse to pick up the phone.
Okay.
No big deal. But yeah, no, maybe I'll call on Monday. Maybe I'll call
Because
tomorrow.
Maybe you'll call
your
tomorrow.
School 100% qualifies.
Oh, yes.
And you've really been using the show so
oh, yeah,
much.
no, I used it every day, pretty much, which maybe like wasn't the right thing to do, but I don't care. It was
Why
awesome.
was it the
Why
wrong
wouldn't
thing
it
to
be the
do?
right thing to do?
I feel like I needed to move faster, and just every day I picked like, okay, and now we're just gonna listen to this song and dissect it. And the kids were like, great, and I was like, oh right, I still have to get through 300 years of history in about a week. Oops. So you know, it worked out real well. I'm definitely not teaching American history again this semester. It's not for that reason, but it might be,
But
but it's not.
but it's totally worth it.
Yep. No, worth every moment. Worth every moment.
So the courtroom, I'm sorry, I just have to get into this because it's
Yeah.
one of my favorite things. Hamilton and Burr worked together a lot. They were kind of like this legal dream team, which is insane to think about. And Chernow says like they had a really cordial legal relationship, and I'm like, yeah, it's all fun and games until they're meeting in
Until
Jersey.
someone murders the other one.
But they did have, you know, their wives would extend invitations to each other. They like went to each other's homes.
They had
Best
they
of
had
wives,
dinners
best
at
of
each
women,
other's houses. I mean, they lived down the block. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Burr worked
Potlucks.
next door.
They acknowledged each other's strengths in so many ways that what Burr could say in a half an hour, Hamilton would say in 2 hours just for the drama of it all.
Right, because
Basically.
Hamilton would just drag it out, as you
Yeah.
said, most durable lungs, and he would drag out his closing arguments or whatever.
Yeah,
But
and
then
Burr was succinct,
he was
persuasive.
succinct and persuasive.
Burr, you're a better lawyer than me.
Okay.
I know I talk too much. I'm abrasive. You're incredible in court. You're succinct, persuasive.
So there was an argument where I think it was like their first time they were gonna work as a team together. They couldn't agree on who was going to do the opening arguments or closing arguments. And back then, I don't know if this is still the same because I'm so clearly not a lawyer, but if you did the closing arguments, you were known as like the head lawyer. So Hamilton was like, I'm doing closing arguments.
I intend to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt with my assistant counsel.
Co-counsel Hamilton, sit down. Our client Larry Weeks is innocent. Call your first witness. That's all you had to say.
Okay, one more thing.
Basically, is what he was saying. He was like, all right, you want to be the closer? Fine. The entire argument, like the entire trial, Burr just said every single thing that Hamilton would possibly say and beat him to the punch on every single argument. So by the time it was time for closing arguments, Ham had nothing to say, and it was really embarrassing.
Wow.
Get him, Burr.
That's vicious.
Yep. You
How,
burned.
how cordial was it, though, really?
That doesn't sound very
that
cordial.
should have been
Very cordial after that.
If that's what was happening.
Yeah, no. That's he stole his thunder. He stole
I'll
his
say
thunder.
so.
Yeah. And no, that wasn't the Levy Weeks trial. We will get into it because it happened.
Later, as the show would have us believe, it takes place earlier
Oh,
than
yeah.
it actually does.
Yeah.
If you're
Right.
following the
Yeah.
timeline of the chronology of the show.
Lynn also references that in the Hamilton,
course.
saying that he just decided that he just wanted to move it up because it made more
Why
sense.
not? It's like punching the bursar, how he said that Ron Chernow was like kind of like knocked on the floor by this gross exaggeration of something that never happened.
Right.
He's like, yeah, but it rhymes, so we're going to do it. And
Yeah.
it's okay.
Theater.
Great.
Yeah.
And it's the theater. I like that, though.
One really shitty thing I didn't like about Burr. Well, it's kind of a
One?
mixed.
Yeah, good one.
One thing that I didn't know that stuck out to me was that one, he was kind of a feminist in the
Right.
sense he read A Vindication of the Rights of Women and thought it was amazing.
If you can't see me, I am holding my
Yep.
fist in the air.
Rosie Riveter.
Yeah.
Thing. Yep, that's a word.
Yeah. Rivetering. Mhm,
I'm rivetering.
totally. Yeah. Look it up, everybody. It's
Oh, I'm a
thing.
teacher. It's embarrassing.
He was so far ahead of his time in the sense where he
Yeah.
wrote Theodosia and said, like, she's going to change everything for you guys. This is amazing. Mm-hmm. But he also wrote Theodosia and said, quote, that her letter was truly one of the most stupid I ever had the honor to receive from you.
So there's
Sit
that.
down, Burr. Stop it.
Stop it is right.
True. You also want to think about in terms of context, right? Like,
Maybe her
it's
letter
like
was really
saying
stupid.
to your boyfriend or girlfriend, being like, "You're an idiot. Stop."
But everything meant so much more then because that's the only thing
True.
they
True.
had.
Yes. Okay.
I hear what you're saying,
But
though,
you know, yeah.
it's like,
no, I mean, like, I understand that. What a crappy thing to say to your Theodosia, but also at the same time, like, I feel like I gotta give him some benefit of the doubt because maybe I don't know the context. Maybe they were fighting. Maybe it was like a feud.
all right.
But
I'll
I don't
give you
know.
that.
Still a little dicky.
It is. But he did. The fact that back then he was reading something
says
even called A Vindication of the Rights of
Absolutely,
Women.
that's a very important.
That's true.
book.
It's a big step.
Yes. Not
I'll give
many
him that.
Not many enlightened men read that and then agreed with it. They read it and they're like, "Stupid woman,"
right.
right? But he was like, "Hey, not so bad."
Yeah. And he did write her and say, she's probably going to.
Yeah.
Change your life.
I was just going to say that. Can we get back to politics?
Please.
Yo. So at this, while we're learning all about Burr, Ham is a lawyer, the most sought after lawyer in New York, maybe the country, maybe ever at this moment in time. He is defending the Tories, who are pro-British people.
British
Loyalists.
sympathizers.
Loyalists.
Yes.
So it's not a good look for him because he's here. He fought for the
Against
independence.
them. Right.
With Washington.
With Washington. With like George
Yeah.
goddamn Washington, as I like to call him now.
Goddamn Washington.
Damn it. And so, but what he did was, his whole thing was, look, our country is going to be judged on how we treat people who are kind of down and out. So I'm just going to, and some of the shit wasn't really right. Like there was the Confiscation Act, the Citation Act, the Trespass Act, and basically it took all of the land from these people. It taxed them a lot. It made them, like, if you gave up your land and then someone now inhabited it, then you would have to fight them basically to
Right.
And there were other laws that completely kept them from working
Yeah.
and not allowing them to live here and work here and make any sort of a living.
And I imagine that, of course there was a lot of, retaliation on the part of the Patriots because they were like, hey, you put us through this for so long. But like when you look at those laws and then you think about it, those laws were doing the exact same thing to these Tories that the British had done to the colonists before the war, which is why they started the revolution.
Right.
And I think it was really pretty great of Ham to be like, hey, wait a second, hypocrisy.
Yeah.
The law
It
is
was-
equal for everybody. Like laws have to protect people,
Right.
not punish people.
It was like when he stood on the top of the stairs and was like, you guys, I totally hear what you're saying, but it's not a good look
This is
to do
not
it like
a good way
this.
to
not a
represent
good look
ourselves.
on you.
Yeah.
So there was this this trial, Rutgers versus Waddington, which are just like, of course, that's what they were named back then. But Elizabeth Rutgers owned a large brewery and alehouse, and she was forced to abandon it during the British occupation of New York City. And then under the Trespass Act, she demanded 8,000 pounds of back rent from Joshua Waddington, who took it over. After
8,000
8,000 pounds.
pounds.
Yeah, of
Wow.
back rent from however
crazy.
long it was.
That's insane.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Those people didn't literally have like 2 nickels to rub together. Wait a second, nickels weren't invented.
He defended, but Ham
If so, who
defended
was on
Rutgers
them?
and said that the Trespass Act violated the
Yeah.
peace treaty that
Absolutely.
Congress put in. He was like, wait, this doesn't make any sense. So the judge gave a split verdict and said that she can only get the rent from the time before the British occupation and not all of it, which was basically, he basically gave her from 8,000 to 800. But
Right.
it was a really big deal because it set a precedent that Congress's legal authority trumped the states, basically.
Yeah.
Which was his whole argument in the Federalist
first place.
Papers.
Federalist Papers.
He wrote 51 of those. I don't know. And the judge was James Dwayne. Dwayne Reed. See? Dwayne.
So
On the corner of Duane and Reed Street, right?
Streets downtown.
Yeah. That's, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go. Right by where
It all
I
comes
purchased our Aaron Burr cider today, down on West Broadway and Murray. So shout out to Frankly Wines. Thank you for having that in stock.
Hey, thanks. And they never will again.
And they never really get. They even
Thanks
said
to the
when I
Hamilton
bought
home.
it, they went, "Oh, our last Burr." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Okay, give it to me.
Never
Thanks
happening
so
again.
much.
It's mine now.
All
Bye.
right,
Also, listen to our podcast.
Well, because I called like a maniac. I was like, "Do you have this in stock?" Because I didn't want to go all the
think
way
that's
down.
smart.
No, that's
Yeah.
smart.
It's a ways away.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like going to another land down
a
there.
trek.
So I called and I was like, "Do you have this in stock?" And they were like, "We have one." I was like, "I'm coming for it,"
I will be there.
and I got it, and now I'm enjoying it. It's delightful.
You definitely feel the burr.
I
can
do
see
feel
it.
the burr. Hashtag feel the burr.
Feel the burr.
Yes. I love that.
It's going to go far. It's miles. It's got miles on it.
I think
What
it
if I
does.
just write in Aaron Burr when I vote?
Ooh, please don't do that.
Is that going to be weird?
I think I don't know if it would be weird. I just wonder just how detrimental it could be. Is detrimental the right? I mean, it could really.
No, you're right. We're in New York, though. We're a
screw-
pretty solid demo state. So
Yeah,
we're pretty good.
that's always my feeling. It's like it doesn't matter what I do.
Oh, it so matters.
It can. I can totally just like be a joke.
Have you been reading the weird people on my Facebook who put up posts like, "Don't vote, doesn't matter."
No,
Your vote
I
means
don't
nothing.
have access to your Facebook feed, unfortunately.
They don't post those weird conspiracy
don't,
videos on your Facebook.
We haven't hacked your timeline yet, Ashley.
This is uncomfortable.
I did have to say, I did text Ashley Happy Siblings Day.
Yes, you did.
because
That is
that's
sweet.
Just
Yeah. Chosen siblings, chosen
siblings.
family. It's a real thing.
Fair. Like, are you an only child?
I am. I have step sisters and a stepbrother. They aren't listening to this, so
I'm an
not
only child.
I'm an only child.
You're an only child. Meg is not an only
I'm
child.
not.
What do you have?
But I have
But you-
sisters that are way, way older than me, so they were out of the house by the time I was like 8.
oh,
How
wow.
many
you
sisters?
kind
So
of
I
had
have
a,
2 sisters.
but you
that
sort
are-
of then had an only child
I
experience.
had only
Yeah, well, that's-
childlike
yeah.
teenage years, and then they came back, and it was confusing.
Who are you?
Yeah. Why are you in this house?
Who are these
I am a
adult ladies
teenager.
here?
Get out.
This is my.
This is my house.
Yeah. No, I mean that's the way. I mean, growing up as an only child, you basically choose who your siblings are, and I kind of like
Totes.
it.
Yep, works out
Oh
great.
yeah,
It's like my friends and my dogs. Thanks, guys.
totally. I have people that are aside from Ashley because that's such a given that we're like we finished each other's sentences, but
Oh my
really
God.
though in like a very crazy, insane way.
Yes.
But there are people that are not my blood relatives that feel more like blood relatives than
Sure.
anyone ever
Yes.
could.
That's what we call it at school. Your chosen family.
Family's weird, you guys.
Because sometimes your family,
Sucks.
you don't get to choose the ones
Yeah,
that
no,
are
sucks.
related to you.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're
Sometimes
not
they
the best.
suck.
That's why I was laughing when Ham was like, you know what? Just talk about the estate. I'm like, dude.
Little do you know.
I don't know when they started that phrase where it's like deaths and funerals and weddings bring out the worst in family.
Oof. They
Yeah,
sure do.
sure.
And this estate, I was like, Ham, you were right. You were, for such a smarty pants, you kind of missed the ball on the fact that people are terrible. And when an estate is involved, it gets super awful.
That might have had a bit to do with the fact that Ham didn't have any more family either. He was like just go talk. Everything will be
I
fine.
know. And that's what makes me feel bad
Aw,
saying
poor
it. But it's like, Ham,
But also, like, get a clue. Sometimes
with
you
it.
hate your family.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
and that's fine.
I don't hate my family. I just want to put that out there in case any of them are listening. Like, that's not about you.
You always love them, but
not about
sometimes you
you.
hate them.
But it is.
All right, you guys. Well, we have to wrap up. Bianca has a rehearsal to get to.
Woohoo.
So it's my fault.
It's
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's your fault.
Yeah.
That's not how I meant it.
I do have a rehearsal to get to.
Do you want to plug what it is?
I would love to just sort of lounge here all night, though.
You look incredibly comfortable.
Dude, I
so
can't even
comfortable.
imagine how you're going to get up from this couch and, like, do things right now.
I don't know how I'm going to.
What are you
even know
going
I'm
to
gonna get
rehearsal
home.
for?
I'm going to a rehearsal with a theater company that I'm a part of called the Wise Fish Theater Collective. And we have our first show coming up in the first 2 weeks of May.
Hooray.
And it's really cool. And we'll
Where
see.
can we find it?
wisefishtheater.com.
That's
Check it out.
a very appropriate.
Seems
It's taken from a
Straightforward.
Lewis Carroll quote that is says, "A wise fish never goes anywhere without a porpoise."
I got it.
I like that.
I
So we
got
called
it.
ourselves Wise Fish.
I like it. Do you want to expand more on what you're doing, or should we? Should
We're
we all
doing
just
a-
pay
well,
the money for the tickets and show up
and then
also
support
pay the
them.
money for the tickets
and support the theater?
support the theater. but-
Theater.
and actually, our show is going up right across the street from the Public Theater
Oh, nice.
at
you're gonna be
440
right around.
Lafayette.
Oh, you're going to be right where I'm working. I'm going to
Yeah.
visit you all the time.
It all comes back.
440 Lafayette. We're doing. There's an Italian playwright named Luigi Pirandello who wrote a play a long time ago called 6 Characters in Search of an Author. It is very dense and very wordy, but we have completely, it's in the public domain, so we took
Nice.
it and we completely revamped it as a modernized, more contemporary adaptation,
Cool.
so that it's a little easier to digest, because it made my head hurt, but it's a really interesting play. And so we're doing a modernized contemporary adaptation of Luigi Pirandello's 6 Characters in Search of an Author. And
Well, that's
that.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's very
You
cool.
could probably, you know what, find the link to that on our website,
Ah.
Oh my God, what's it called?
thehamilcast.com.
Oh right.
Right. Meg made it.
I did.
Yes.
A website.
And we hope by now you've all seen it and you've all visited it. And we hope you like it because we love it.
We love it so much, you guys. I'm not bullshitting. I'm not exaggerating. I'm overwhelmed still at the generosity and creativity.
So you
and
can also
talent of Meg
find
Smith.
all that information. I linked to our website from there.
Everybody should probably just make it their homepage, though, right?
Oh, yeah,
sure.
yeah.
That makes the most sense.
They haven't already?
This is awkward.
Have you, Ashley?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
I
Twice.
have.
At
Meg
work
has. At work.
and at home.
I love it.
I love it. That's why you're here.
Thank you.
yeah, so we are the Hamilcast. It feels so nice to say that. I just want to keep
Hamilcast.com.
saying it over and over again.
Sounds great.
Saying what? The Hamilcast.com?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the Hamilcast.com. Is that what you said? Did you say the Hamilcast.com?
www.thehamilcast.com.
.com.
Got it.
Yeah, the Hamilcast.com.
Right.
It's a website.
Yours.
Right.
That Meg
it's,
made.
it's our website that Meg made. Meg Smith. And Meg Smith, what your Etsy page is
SweetLadyDesigns.com.
Sweet Lady Designs. Is that
www.sweetladydesigns.com.
I don't think you need the www.
You can put it in.
You can put it in.
I'll bet you it still works.
It'll definitely
totally work.
still
Yeah,
work.
I just want to make sure people understand exactly how the internet works. I don't know what they know.
Hey. Was that even intentional?
Nope.
It wasn't.
What is this?
That was good.
All right. I am at Gillian with a G. I'm just smirking and laughing so much. I love this podcast so much. And I love the fact that I have like Twitter notifications on this computer. I love everyone that's listening. I'm just, it's like the reverse of, remember that episode we did where it was like really sad with Lawrence and everything.
When he died?
Yeah.
That sucked.
That sucked a lot. But now I'm feeling like super
Hooray.
super giddy and very excited about everything that's happening. And it's all thanks to everyone who's listening. Hooray. Ash, we're going to get you in touch with those people. Your kids are going to see Ham for sure.
We're going to get your kids into that show.
We're going to do it. And if anyone
There's
has...
only 80 of us. Come on.
Yeah, come on. If anyone knows anything or whatever, please...
Help me out.
Yeah, email, tweet, or something, or any other information. I'm going to... You know what? I'll call that person on your behalf.
Thank
for
you.
Sure.
I appreciate that.
I will.
All right.
They're probably going to know me. They're
She's
probably
like, I believe you. And starts
I
handing
wasn't
you the phone,
doubting you.
dialing,
Yeah.
take it.
Yeah.
It's the Gilda Lerman. Here you are.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. We will talk to you next week. I am G.Pen.
B.so.
A.Graph.
M.Smith.
Peace out.
Hey guys, for all your Hamilcast needs, you can go to thehamilcast.com. I am Gillian with a G on all social media. My show is The Residuals, theresiduals.tv.
And I'm _Bianca Jean_ on both Twitter and Instagram.